Hello, my name is Chatelier, and welcome to brand new series of Victoria 3. We're currently in the 1.1 patch, and we're going to start a new game. As you probably guess or gather from the title of the video and probably the thumbnail, we're going to be playing as Siam, and or Siam, however you pronounce that. I was first planning on playing as Dynam, but Dynam is pretty boxed in. You got a few neighbors. You got, well, basically Siam as one of your neighbors. Then you got China, and then you need to do landings elsewhere, so it's a really difficult sort of place to start expanding from. Not impossible, mind you, but I think Siam is going to be a bit more interesting. So, first, to get a bit of an idea of what we're going to have to deal with here is we have four partial states. We got part of Cambodia, we got part of Laos, we got a little bit of Siam, which East India Company owns the other half, and then we got a little bit of Malaya, which, well, that's split with various nations, so that's going to be something that we can probably expand a little bit into, get some of this area, because this state does in fact have some lead in there, and coal, and a bit of logging as well. Does it have any other modifiers? No, it doesn't have any modifiers there, neither does that one. This is something that we'll probably want to incorporate as soon as possible, so we'll put that underway already. And then over here we've got Shafraya Delta, which doesn't actually continue elsewhere, does it? No, this is the Mekong River, so that is going through all these states here. And then I suppose it's also in here. And it gives a bit of infrastructure, which is quite nice. Does it? It's the delta that gives the agriculture throughput. And the river just gives infrastructure, which, you know, makes sense. We also got the Indo-Chinese forest in here, which increases the logging industry throughput by 10%, but lowers the infrastructure and state construction efficiency by 10%. Which can be a little bit of an awkward situation. Now, we do have two vassals, I believe. Actually, it's probably easiest to check from here. Yeah, we've got two vassals and we got a tributary to the north. The tributary doesn't like us necessarily all that much, but we'll figure out that in a little bit. So first of all, let's actually have a look at the diplomacy. So we could declare interest in Indonesia. I think that's going to be our sort of first expansion after we clear out a lot of the area here in Southeast Asia. So if we take Indonesia, there's a lot of good resources in there, so it would be quite beneficial. And then we probably want to improve relations with China, East India Company, and Great Britain. Those are the big players around here. Maybe we could upgrade or improve relations with our vassals and even the tributary for a little bit. Because we don't need to worry about infamy right now, so we might as well use as much of the points as possible. And then I suppose we could also damage relations. Well, we can't actually damage relations too much. Cambodia is one of the options, maybe? Sure, we'll start with that one. Right, then let's set up some research. So we start with a pretty similar research situation as we started as in Ethiopia. We could go for the academia to unlock that early, but we'll need to have paper before the university that's going to be useful. Although it would lead us to the medical degrees, which is quite useful. There's of course urban planning for extra infrastructure, which could be quite handy as well. Colonization, we'll probably do some colonization, but it's not going to be all that big of a target. Also, I have added a few more mods into the playthrough, but I'll have the list in the description, so I'm not going to go through it right now. But it's mostly just UI things and quality of life stuff a little bit. We could also start going for the line infantry as soon as possible, because that would actually allow us to get some better troops fairly soon. Now we're going to go for the mandatory service, start researching that. And of course we have nothing in construction right now. I think what we are going to do is we're going to start building a construction sector at first in here, so we can increase the construction speed. We'll probably build two of them actually. And then after that, we'll probably need to get a bit of logging camps over here, for example. So this one doesn't have any resources other than logging. Over here, we've got logging and fishing. Oh, you don't even get fishing from here. Oh, interesting. Now, there's opium, cotton, and silk in here, and tea and sugar and all that. So we can do a lot of farming. Well, some farming in this state. Over here, we've got some iron and logging. Over there, we've got some coal and iron. Over here, we got the logging. That's logging and fishing. And over here, we have the lead and coal. And a bit of logging as well. So that's probably going to be a lot of the mines here in the south right now. We can probably have some mines in Laos as well, to be fair. We don't really need the iron or coal right now, though. What we do need is definitely a bit of logging. We could probably get some logging on both of these. And then, how many buildings is that? That's 4 buildings. We'll probably want to get a bit of... actually, insufficient taxation capacity in our capital. Alright, we could get another level for that. Of course, once we get some paper, which actually... We'll probably get the paper mill over here. Just to spread the things a little bit. And I suppose also, let's put in some decrees. We are going to put in the resource industry probably in there. It would increase the logging by 20%, although, agriculture could also be a pretty good one in there, actually. But we'll go with the resource industry there for now, and then we'll put in the manufacturing in our capital. At least the boost for that. I suppose, well, other places we probably don't want to do too much yet. Not really that much required. In terms of taxes, we don't really need to put any consumption taxes yet. But in terms of politics, we start with pretty much the same laws as we started with in the Ethiopia playthrough, other than the slavery is debt slavery instead of slave trade. But pretty much everything else is identical, including no trade policy. If we had started as Vietnam, we'd start with mercantilism, which, you know, means that we could be trading from the get-go, but it'll be fine. Right, I think first things first, we're going to start bolstering the armed forces. I'm going to pull those into the government. It's going to reduce our legitimacy a little bit, but we've still got 91, which means that the enactment time is fairly short. And then I want to put the professional army in. The rural folk is going to appreciate that. Armed forces are going to really appreciate that. That's going to allow us to get some of the research done a lot faster as well. But, you know, having the professional army means that we can have a decent bit of armies from our provinces. Of course, currently we have, if we have a look at the outliner, is let's put in the interest groups there, as well as the commanders. Of course, we don't have any right now. We can see on the top here that we have 45 battalions total, so we can probably recruit 2 generals. I like keeping somewhat similar size. Oh, artillery commander. Okay, is that... Yeah, that has dropped down a little bit, but that's still a pretty decent extra offense. So we'll recruit you, and then we'll probably want to get someone that is decent at defending. Pious, you got... Morale loss minus 25%, morale recovery plus 25%, kill rate is minus 10%. That's not necessarily the best. What about the direct? That increases offense. Alcoholic reduces morale damage. I suppose the pious one is the more useful then. But like that's going to be a more offensive one. Less morale loss, morale recovery is a bit slow there though. So it'll probably be able to do an attack and then pull back. We'll have 5 extras right now. And then I think we've got most of the stuff set up, so let's just unpause. I'll probably remember quite a few things over time. We could, technically speaking, increase some of the extra authority from there, actually. For example, I'm not going to put any consumption taxes yet, necessarily, so I suppose what we could do in the meanwhile... Oh, Pontic and Cambodia improving relations, Burma improving... Okay, there's a lot of improving relations going on. I want to start boosting at least the industrialists, or bolstering them. And then maybe the intelligentsia? Since we've got a lot of points, might as well utilize them to get some good out of it. And we're already bolstering the armed forces, so we are going to want to reduce the landowners' power a little bit. Although we probably want to keep them in power. I don't know if we're going to go into any sort of democracy. We'll see where the road leads in that regard. So we don't have a lot of extra influence right now. Still got a pretty good amount of authority. We did set up the... Yeah, we got the government administration underway. And we got the paper bills underway, so we can start using the filing cabinets. No, we do start with Angkor Wat, which gives us 25 prestige. And the monks get a 25% increase in their power, which, you know, it's not necessarily bad. We probably want to have them in power soon enough. We're getting a pretty good amount of money, but once we start building things, it's going to get a lot more expensive. So how is our economy doing right now? So market price, we got a little bit extra wood, we got a lot of extra grain right now. That might not last very long. I suppose one of the things... Oh, Great Britain's improving relations. Well, that's handy. We'll build a food industry in here, because food industry is, generally speaking, very, very useful thing to have. And it looks like our loyalist numbers are growing quite nicely. Public address goes awry. Was meant as a routine speech about the merits of professional army. Okay, so minus 15% chance or minus 10% chance. I'm going to take the minus 15 and just stop that entirely. Is there anything else that we could try passing? We could try going for the local police force, I suppose, which would anger some of the factions, but landowners would be happy about that, and armed forces would still be pretty happy. We'll go for that one. It will mean a bit of bureaucracy is being spent, but it'll be fine. Oh dear, text spread is lowered thanks to the rural folk. But yeah, we are going to get a lot of money right now, so we don't need to do extra taxes. We've got pretty good taxation capacity right now. Wait, why is that tax law? It's land-based taxation. Okay. So we won't be able to get the per capita taxation until we get rid of the traditionalism, which is easier said than done. It can be done eventually, but right now it's just a matter of improving some of the factions that will be supporting that over time. And now we've got one of the construction sectors already built. Second one's not going to take all that long, most likely. I'm going to keep the relations with our vassals and all that decently well. I mean, how much are we getting money from our vassals right now? Getting 1,300, that's not too bad. Oh, and Great Britain, okay, so they stop improving relations, then they start improving relations again. Okay, then I guess that's how it's gonna go. What sort of market price changes where there's a fish is a bit more expensive, fabrics, meat, and furniture and clothing are really expensive. Right, we're gonna have the paper mills there. I think there's not a lot of people there. There's not a lot of people there, all there. So I guess that most of the construction is gonna have to be in our primary two states there. So we'll probably put in some textile mills, and then perhaps over here we can utilize some of the farmlands for cotton, because that's an easy way to get a lot of fabrics. And I suppose we could also get a silk plantation there at some point, so we can start producing some of the... Oh wow, that was quick with the police force. And what's this? Zulu. Oh, right. Prison is... Oh. Well, I'm going to declare neutrality on that. I don't need to be part of that, but that's probably going to be hindering our expansion plans a little bit. Now, I'm hoping that they get someone like Ming to help them, although I don't know if Ming is going to be... Oh, not Ming, China, to help them, because they need a lot of help against the British if they want to win. And even that is not guaranteed. Right, so when it's the first the logging camps, then the government administration, the paper mill and all that. So we've got a lot of construction underway. We're not building very quickly though. I suppose once we get to the iron frame buildings, which we can't do that yet, we need to urban planning first. Which, to be fair, is that spreading to us? No, we're getting the currency standards. Urban planning is a level 1 tech though, so that shouldn't be too difficult to get. But I think what we're going to do is we're going to get the mandatory service, then we might go for the academia, because we'll have the paper already by then. And then, well, maybe by then we'll have it. And then after that we can go and start improving our innovation, which is going to be quite a bit. Oh, and you can actually see the max... Oh, right, so it takes the literature value and increase it by a little bit. Plus 50, so that's the max innovation. So right now we could have up to 81, which isn't all that massive admittedly, but maybe we can increase it a little bit. So the wood price is starting to be pretty high thanks to the fact that we've got 2 construction sectors built right now, which we built 1 on each one of these just to increase the construction efficiency in both of them a little bit. It's not going to be a massive improvement. We got some stuff in the... Oh, we got the path of liberalism, so that's having suffrage, and then keep the monarchy and or autocracy and state religion for 30 years. We might go for that one, but I don't think we need to have it pinned in here. Right, so if we got the paper mills here, we could probably get the furniture manufacturer in here as well. We just need to get some of the basic stuff in to our market as quickly as possible. And also, we got the 2 armies. I don't suppose if we were to do a... Ooh, did Britain won? No, not yet, but I think the war has started then. Oh yeah, it has. They do have Brunei and Dutch East Indies helping them, so maybe they can... No, I don't know if they can fend off the invasions, actually. But you know, the Dutch East Indies will at least be able to cause some trouble for the British. We're just slowly trying to improve the relations. There's not that much more to it, quite frankly. I'm about to get the logging camp done in a few weeks. Well, first of the logging camps. Right, so over here we got an opium plantation. Well, that's lovely. We could probably get another one in there at some point. But of course, since right now, actually... Oh, we got a lot of sugar. Well, once we get the plantations, or the food industry going, then it's going to be using a lot of sugar. So we'll need quite a bit. Let's actually have a look at the rural stuff, though. So we got 3 rice farm, 1 livestock farm. Well, we've got 1 cotton plantation underway. We've got 2 tea plantations, 2 tobacco, 1 banana. We've got the silk plantation underway. We don't have any tools yet. So that's probably something that we should build as well. We'll put that in here. Tooling workshop. Also put in another logging camp over here. Because we're going to need a lot of them, I reckon. I'm going to put actually a second one in there. So we'll have another 2 coming in here. We'll put this one before the furniture and the tooling workshops. Because those are going to take quite a bit of... Actually, let's put it in the cotton plantation before the textile mill. Now, I don't suppose we can do any more laws right now. Not yet. We could switch to the government, I suppose. Oh, it lost a bit of legitimacy. Okay. Probably don't need to worry about those. So the intelligentsia is very unhappy, but they are now at least influential. But we don't really have a lot of laws that we could pass, quite frankly. Even if we had the things like we just need to get the... Oh, right, yeah, we didn't pass the army situation yet, or thing yet. Now, admittedly, that does still allow us to have 25 barracks level, so it's not the worst. But the morale loss is a bit higher, so we won't be probably fighting until we get the professional army. Now, admittedly... Well, I suppose we got some of these in here that we could maybe try fighting. The improving relations with China, so that might be a problem. Would have some help. There's some nations that might join on either side. I think, you know what, how much do you have, troops? 5 battalions. Do we dare? I mean, I suppose Great Qing is not part of any wars yet. No. They got a vassal as Tibet, and then they are rivaling Sikh Empire. Damaging relations with Russia, and then pretty much everyone's improving relations with them, including us. Because no one wants to fight the China. I mean, the troops aren't necessarily all that great, but they have a lot of them. Which is a problem in itself. But at the same time, I'm not entirely sure if I really have the troops to really push through them. I mean, they got 5 battalions, we got 40, so we would just sort of eventually push through. But that is easier said than done. Johor is another one that we could go for. How much do you have, troops? 5 plus 2. Now, of course, who knows how many of these would support one another if I was to declare the war. Let's have a quick look. So, who's got interests in here? Of the larger nations, so there's East India Company, Great Britain, Vietnam. Well, Vietnam is similar size to us. Then Qing, and that's pretty much it in terms of the larger nations. Now, Dynam does have a bit more troops than we do, but of course it's basically the same quality. So it wouldn't really be that big of a deal. As long as we can hold the ground somewhere, we'll be able to push through. Now, I suppose also, if we were to declare war on Cambodia, we can't actually because it's a tributary, or is it because... No, we... Oh. They're improving relations, we are hurting relations there. But I suppose since they are a tributary, we'd have to fight against Dynam to free them. Which is fair enough, I suppose. Okay, so we did get the second logging camp already. We still have a shortage of about 100 wood, though. But I suppose once we get the tool workshop underway, which is pretty far back here right now, I suppose getting the paper mills is going to be really good for the bureaucracy stuff. And also we can get the universities underway at some point. Oh, there we go. Prison is improving relations once more. Oh, there's a lot of support for... Okay. 50%. Sure, I'll take that. So many factions are supporting it. You know, might as well. If we could abolish serfdom, then that's good for us. Because that's going to improve the standard of living a little bit. It's got about 19 weeks for the government administration. Then the paper mills is going to take a while. We got pretty good cash reserves, and we got a lot of authority that we could use for taxation if need be. So I'm thinking about maybe putting in one more construction sector over here. Build that as quickly as possible, so that's going to get us to 11 construction per week. Of course, it's not necessarily going to be quite that much in actual reality for the construction itself. But it's a pretty decent amount regardless. And I'm hoping that if we can get the serfdom abolished as soon as possible, then we might have... Well, actually, that would open up the... No, actually, I don't think it's... Oh, wait, no, what it would do is open up the... Was it the religious schools? Yeah, serfdom is there. And then we'd have to pull in the church, of course. Or the religious faction. There are the monks. Right, so we'd have to invite the monks into the government. Probably kick the armed forces out for the time being at that point. So we still got the -10 on the Miltech costs, so we are a little bit closer getting the mandatory service. And it's also spreading the paddle steam as well, which means more convoys, of course. Do we have any ports right now? No, okay, I see that being a bit of a problem. We'll probably build a port in our capital at least. wood price is still massive. And it's probably not going to get any better for a while. Suppose we could just queue up yet another one in here. Eventually we'll get to those. Okay, now we're losing a bit of cash with the extra construction, so let's have a look at the taxes. Liquor tax is okay. Put that one in. We could probably put in the service tax. It's always a steady amount of money. And then let's put in the luxury clothing. And maybe tea. First we could put the opium tax as well, for good measure. So now we're making some money again. Of course, our authority did drop, so the enactment time is now longer. But I suppose it'll still be fine. We're pretty close to getting this, or getting to the first roll. So I suspect that we'll probably succeed. The furniture price is going up and up. Oh, there we go, serfdom abolished. Landowners don't like that, admittedly. But everyone else loves that change. And yeah, now that people aren't serfs, so that actually means we have to pay a little bit more in wages, I think. For the subsistence farms, at least. You know, it opens up a lot of the other laws that we could maybe pass. We could try passing the professional army again. Landowners don't like that, admittedly, but the armed forces would love that. And rural folk would like that. We'll go for it. Try to get it again. And let's go for the academia now, so we can start improving our innovationness at least a little bit. About to get the government administration over here. How much do we get per level? About 35 bureaucracy, so that's not too bad. Also increases the tax efficiency a tiny bit, which is going to be getting us pretty close to what we need it to be there. Yeah, there we go. And now it's the paper mills. That's going to take a while, but that is going to be very useful. Of course, right now there's no demand for paper all that much. I mean, there might be a little bit from the population itself, but beyond that, it's not too much. But right now we could, oh yeah, we can have 20 conscript battalions if need be. We haven't still gotten the better militia though. Which I'm not into. Oh, wait, no. We're trying to get the professional army, primarily. So that we don't take quite as much morale damage in the combat. We've got a pretty good amount of loyalists now with the abolishing of serfdom. And we do have the patriotic fervor, so that would actually be pretty good amount of extra offense for our troops. I don't actually know how good the troops are in general, though. We have a look at, well, 11 and 17 defense, so it's not the worst. We could technically have cannons in there, but we don't have any. Oh, no, never mind. For a moment, I thought we had another diplomatic place somewhere. Speaking of diplomatic place, how is the war going between Britain and, well, it's not too bad. They've lost almost 1 million, and the other side has lost basically nothing. So I guess it's been quite an easy war thus far. But I suspect that if they are already in a war, they might not join against me. Right, so we got yeah, we still need to improve relations with Qing. It'll take a while. Now, luckily we don't border them. But they probably do have a bit of a fleet, don't they? 16 flotillas, okay. So it could be a bit of an issue. But I think what we're going to do soon... Oh. Did someone build a... Or someone in our market... Hold on. No one in our market has built any. I don't have the AI mod right now. That improves the sort of AI building things. I might add that in at some point though. Shouldn't we? Oh, it's 10.95. We're rounded down to 10. Alright. The usual. So at least we've got cordial relations with Great Britain, so they probably wouldn't hate me if I was to do a war over here. Just gonna wait for one roll on that. If we don't get it, we don't necessarily need to fret about it. We'll probably do a quick war over here, get some territory conquered to the south. I mean, it is already 1838. I mean, it's only 1838 to be fair. So we've gone 2 years. We started getting a lot of the construction stuff going. We got a little bit of government administration. Oh, okay. So it increased by 10%. We didn't pass it yet. But I think we're gonna start the conquest war goal over here, or diplomatic play. We'll activate at least the artillery commander. Put it on the advanced front there. We'll see if they invite anyone. They might invite some people. But I'm hoping that at least East India Company and Great Britain won't join on that. Some of the others might, of course. And of course, I suppose we'll have some of our vassals helping us, so we'll have a decent bit of troops overall. They are fearful. If some of the other nations in here join, then we might be able to grab more land in this war. But, you know, starting with 1, it's probably not the worst thing. we can sort of evaluate how well we do. I mean, they are fearful, so if they don't get anyone in... Oh, come on. Well, that was only a... Okay, but East India Company does have a lot better troops. Can I invite anyone onto my side? Lumparang, well, that wouldn't be enough. And Britain probably would not accept because, you know, be fighting against one of their own vassals. Right, so I could just back down with the war reparations. Because, yeah, they're now cocky and they got a lot more troops at their disposal. Especially this front is going to be really bad for us because they got a lot better troops. So, yeah, I think what we're going to do is we're probably going to back down from this. I'm going to wait for a little bit. Let them at least activate their troops and all that. But, yeah, East India Company is a problem. They haven't brought in... Oh, wait, no. They've started bringing troops now. Oh, yeah, they're bringing in 19 battalions there. How much do they actually have armies? I know that they got a massive army, usually. 130. Okay. Yeah, no, I think we're going to have to back down from this one. So, not necessarily the best start to the game. We're now paying an extra... How much are we paying, actually? 1,600 per week. Well, it's still all, well, we're losing a bit of cash, but we've got okay cash reserves at least, so it's not too bad. And we can always tax a bit further if need be. But once we get the paper mills, that's going to allow us to get a bit more bureaucracy. Speaking of which, there's one institution that we could improve. That's not necessarily something that we need to improve. So I'm hoping that we get the professional army soon. And I suppose once we get to line infantry and all that, we'll be fine. But until then, we are a little bit vulnerable in here. What I might do is actually, do we need the hardwood anywhere? No, probably not yet. So after the paper mill, there's the food industry. Then a bit of cotton and textile mill. So basically getting the basic demands for the people at least partially met. Then we'll get a bit of silk so we can start producing luxury clothing, which is going to be really good money, and especially once we get to trading. I think what we're going to do in this playthrough is we're going to be the #1 producer of luxury clothing at some point, because there's a lot of silk that could be farmed in this region, and that means a lot of luxury clothing that can be made, and it's very, very valuable. Right, well, at least East India Company and Prison are improving, or actually... East India Company is not improving relations, maybe, but they're not hurting the relations either. So we'll hopefully get that relation situation fixed. I mean, what is the attitude towards me right now? It's genial. Desirable as an ally. Is there any, like, defensive pacts on it? I suppose I can't do defensive pact with another subject. Or someone else's subject. Right, and we are just a few days away from the paper mill being completed. There we go. So now that we've got that completed, let's go ahead and switch. You know, it's probably easier to switch from here, actually, just to make sure that everywhere is switched. Although, we only have 3 administration centers, and it's all in there. But that's going to increase the bureaucracy quite a bit, which increases the construction efficiency, actually, slightly. Which is not bad. Oh, what's this? Prominent members of the armed forces, outspoken support of professional army, and close allies of, is this our ruler? No, it's a politician. Right, it's the leader of the armed forces. Have been exposed in a corruption scandal, having exchanged political favors for personal gifts. So it's either -15 or -10% chance. We can probably afford losing a bit of prestige. No, not prestige, bureaucracy. Not prestige, though. But yeah, okay, so that probably won't pass. I'm just going to stop that one. What we're going to do is actually switch a bit of the government. Push the armed forces out and bring the clergy in. They are quite powerful, and we can push for the religious schools. There's no one opposing it, which is quite nice. No one gets upset by having some schooling. Currently, literacy rate is pretty low. But with that, we are actually out of time for this episode. So if you enjoyed this, please like and subscribe if you haven't already. Also check out the links down below in the description. But other than that, thank you very much for watching. Until next time, bye-bye.